lot of fun, and he's doing really well. Keenan Stanton, he's a great player out of Deering. He had a great career for us. He's in business school right now. He's an international business major. He had a lot of success on the field for us. Won the Defensive Rookie of the Year in our first varsity season back in 2018, and only got better during his time with us. Nick Lakeman went to John Baptist, and he's applying to med schools, and he's one of the smartest guys we've ever had come through. Barry out of Wells, coaches at St. Lawrence, was DB for us. Pat Saunders out of Kennebuck, moved out to the West Coast. He's in San Diego and doing really well. Bunny is out of Wyndham, got 3 different degrees from UNE, works in Maine Med. Trev Derry, another Biddeford guy. His career got cut short with back injury, coached with us, and he's a full-time strength coach at Schofield down in Biddeford and helps us out, coach our tight ends and our fullbacks. And then we had the Defensive Rookie of the Year in our league from Maine, Spencer LeBrun. He's out of Yarmouth, played 8-man football, played fullback, wing, middle linebacker for us, played nose tackle for us, only played 4 games because of back injury, and was recognized from 4 games as the Defensive Rookie of the Year in our league. So those are some examples of some guys from the state of Maine coming to UNE and having success. Let's talk about the football now. Our philosophy in the screen game is if we have a play, a scheme that we do well, that is effective, that we call regularly, we're going to find a way to protect, complement, and improve that play by running screens often. Okay? And then the slides you'll see, if I was sitting in those seats, and I often sit in clinics and things that I would want to know, that these slides are going to kind of bring you through. Why do we call screens? One, it's a guaranteed touch for our skill players, and when I show you the numbers on how we did on this, you'll see it's somewhere in the low 90s. So if there's somebody on our team who needs to touch the ball, or potentially hasn't touched the ball late in the first quarter, early in the second, maybe early in the second half, it's almost a guaranteed way to get people we want the football, to force people to have to tackle the people we think are tough to tackle. It is a low-thought play for our quarterbacks. We are an RPO system in most of our pass concepts. Most of the time, all 5 receivers could get the ball. So they're stressful, a lot of thought going into a place for our quarterbacks. These are not. For the most part, these screen plays are execute a fake and throw to that guy. So although there's a physical component in those, for the most part, they can take a breath, which is valuable at a very stressful position. It protects our best player, which I touched on briefly, and as you'll see by the number, it helps generate explosive plays. The next thing I want to know when I'm sitting in clinic was, were you any good at it? And the answer is yes, and then I want to know how good. So this is a screenshot from our self-scout breakdown, which we build each week and then computes into our end-of-season totals. We call 37 screens in 10 games, so it's just under 4 a game, which we'll talk about in a second. We completed 34 of 37, so 92% of the time. So when I said it's almost a guaranteed touch for guys, those are the exact numbers. We rank efficiency 4 or more on first down, half the distance or more on second down, convert, or third down. If it's a situation where we know we're going to go for it on 4th down, a 3rd down mentality has a 2nd down mentality. Are we going to get half or more? So 2/3 of our screens were efficient. Explosive plays at 15 or more for us. Over 1/3 of our screens were explosive. So I talked about earlier, the way to generate explosive plays. There you go. A little over 9 per attempt and a little over 10 per completion were our numbers. Confession, up until the past 5 years, screens were not a big part of the offenses I've been involved at. And the reasons they were not, because we would sit around the table, we'd practice them a little, we'd call them a little bit, and then we would be like, they're not really good, they're not really productive. We don't feel like we really got that guy who's got a feel for it, a guy who's got the timing of it. We didn't invest in it enough. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, not only the scheme, but how we get good at it, okay? How you get good at it, we do 1 5-minute screen period every single day. So I'm going to show you tape of those periods. Then we get a ton of reps, and then we use consistent teaching. We really only throw 2 types of screens, so although we dress it up to look like a lot of our really good plays, at the core, the techniques used fit into 1 of 2 categories. It's consistent across the board. All right? How many times can you call screens in a game? Is the investment worth it? We're still trying to figure that out. The first thing we looked at later on in the second half of the season, and certainly at the end, like these were this good, is less than 4 times a game enough? And the answer is no, but I do think there's a cap on how many of these you can call in a game, and then it'll start hurting the productivity. So I don't know the exact envelope or the exact number of how many you can call in a game, but we're gonna push it. We're gonna push. I would like to say at minimum we'll be calling 8 a game, 2 a quarter, once every 7 or 8 plays in years moving forward. And then if you're doing this every single day, is it worth the investment? Well, even calling it 3.7 times a game, I think it was worth the investment based on the numbers you saw. It resulted in scores, it resulted in chunk plays, it resulted in first downs. How many of you carry 2 types? Tunnel screen, which is going out to the edge, and a slip screen, which is going to someone coming out of the back end. And then we dress it up in a variety of ways. And then I want to see the tape. Enough talking, enough pictures. Show me the tape. Let's get into it. We run what we call wide zone. You might call it mid zone, outside zone, stretch, whatever. We run. Okay? This is what it looks like. This will be the flow of the clinic. I'll show you a picture of the play. I'll show you the install slide of the screen, how we drill the screen, and I'll show you the screen. Okay? So this is our wide zone to the field, or middle of the field, wide zone to the right. The quarterback has a pre-snap bubble here based on numbers. So by the time you snap the ball, he either knows whether he's throwing it or not. We are sliding the get back. We are a home-based pistol team. We are sliding him late into the gun because there are a certain number of things we do for the gun, so we make it a late movement. So people on that backside can't adjust, different calls can't come in. If the quarterback is going to take this pre-snap bubble, this running back is crossing his face, so the quarterback would have to clear the mesh to throw the bubble. He will not hear because it's 3 over 3, 1, 2, 3. They're playing man coverage. Okay. In terms of the blocking scheme, everyone's responsible for their play side gap. Number 1 responsibility, play side gap. Second, let's get some movement on down linemen. Front side guys will work to the front side backer. Backside guys will work to the backside backer. We had a tag on this play, which told the backside tackle to block out, which moved the read from C gap to B gap, and now take B gap read. Okay, so 2 is being, and we read gaps, not people. All right, that protects us against movement. All right, but we are reading B gap. 2 is not allowing that ball to be handed off. Here you see us being really gap sound, so when 92 goes away, he gets reached by the backside guard, which frees up the center, who climbs for the backside linebacker 51 over the top. 64 is doing a good job knowing that the action of the back will bring 23 to him. The back is taught to stretch and puncture. Rarely are we hitting these things around the outside. That's why we don't necessarily think of it as an outside zone or a sweep play. We're trying to stretch and puncture. The running back, we talked about ride the wave, get tight to the line of scrimmage, or tight to the wall of offensive line and spray paint with them. We ultimately end up one-on-one with the safety, and he wins, okay? So that is the play. This is the screen offered. This is a tunnel screen that is going to one of the receivers on the outside. It is typically done to the outside receiver, unless we're in a 3 receiver set, which we could put it, we typically move it into number 2. All right, how we run this tunnel, it's a shuffle tunnel. I'm gonna skip ahead 1 slide. We use our stretch release in some of our vertical pass game. That's what we're drilling here. So what this is we want an outside release coach. We want to get back to the line. So that is what's happening there. So he's gonna do what, when I first was approached with this by our wide receivers coach, I thought that was a terrible idea. He's gonna stab his back foot behind him, which will help propel him laterally and give him 2 shuffles. The cone is a visual cue. By the time that right foot hits the ground your second time, if you had cleared the cone, you won your outside release, take it, get back on the line and get vertical. In the event that that foot hits the ground the second time and you have not cleared the ground, use that to change direction, inside release it, and you're on it. So that's already taught to our guys. When we install 4 verticals in our first install, we're teaching them that release, and that's the release we use for this tunnel. The reason we use this here is because we do not take any vertical ground from our tunnel. So we can and have run this against press coverage. And instead of engaging that human being, we're selling a vertical release that we use, but we're keeping, hopefully, the air that was present, if there is any, without eating that up, and we're allowing that kick out path. Then we do a pretty traditional retrace, and then we're trying to get inside the kick out, and we'll make the alley defender right. The kick out can come from one of two areas. If it's coming from a tight end or a wing, he's going to sell that wide zone action. For 3 steps, he's going to try to displace anything in C-gap, and then he is running flat down the line of scrimmage, trying to pick whatever's in front of that tunnel off. So he's running straight down the line of scrimmage. It is easy to redirect upfield. If you get a soft corner, it is very tough to be upfield and try to redirect back to the line of scrimmage. Our tackle will do the same thing. He will sell it. He will then be flat for the alley. He is also flat for as long as possible until he gets out to the alley and says, all right, there's no one to block, and then he'll turn vertical. But most of these you'll see he'll end up kicking somebody too. All right. Our guard is also cued in it. He is running, again, on a similar path, and then he's got eyes for this linebacker level to whatever shows up on the 3rd level. If this linebacker goes out, all these guys are selling the wide zone action, as is the back, as are these guys. We do this both from the pistol and from the gun. Pistol, quarterback has eyes on it. Excuse me, got a gun, quarterback has eyes on it. Pistol, he doesn't, puts his back to the ball. The quarterback does own C-gap. That is a nice way for saying you might get hit. There'll be some clips here that he does, and that is a risk of the play. I already showed these. All right, here we are drilling. He's getting the tunnel. We used to just put bags out there, put pop-ups, and then we said, yeah, our timing's really good, but we stink at blocking moving targets. So we stopped putting stagnant things out there, and we started bouncing stability balls. So now these offensive line need to block moving targets. So here's the tight end. He is occupying C-gap. Right now I'm just watching. I'll become involved in the next clip, which you'll see. He is flat, and he is getting the ball that is representing the corner. Okay? Here we are forcing the tackle to be flat and kick out. And this is one thing that we did not get when we were blocking static people, right? It was, yeah, the timing was getting good, but a lot of times this guy's got to make this block right. Sometimes he goes outside, you'll see on tape. Sometimes he goes inside it. So the fact that he needs to catch this and then kind of make that first block right, make somebody miss, and then get into the scheme has a ton of value. All right, here's the backside guard. Again, he's flat. He's getting anything coming out of that backside linebacker area. And then the center is just snapping and getting out of there. This is from the pistol. Quarterback's back's to it, show it early, take it away late, foot in the ground, ball's coming. All right, you'll kind of see towards the tail end of this clip, you'll see 3 new offensive linemen coming in. You'll see a new quarterback and running back coming in, and 2 new guys coming on the edge. So it flows quick. In a 5-minute period, we will usually get 8 reps to the left and 8 reps to the right. After I give the first rep, uncontested, now I'm in and I'm making the quarterback prepare to have to handle C-gap. So now you see me in the mix, and now he has heat. He can try to beat me with speed, get the ball out now, or sometimes he will need to change the launch point to get it out there. Sometimes he'll need to vertically retreat and just dirt that thing or send it over the head of the tunnel, depending on how much pressure I put on it. All right? Again, this is pistol, and again, we're working the same drill. So I'll typically, if we're working this scheme, the first time through, pistol. The second I see the quarterback, first quarterback back up, I'll slide him into the gun. Here it is from the gun. Now the quarterback has eyes on it, so it's good. Team doesn't going to do any type of mesh charge from C-gap. Typically, we're there on the side of the gun, so he sees what's happening. But besides that, you're looking at the same drill. Now, when the kick out is coming from the slot, when it is not coming from a wing position, C-gap is truly naked. It truly belongs to the quarterback. And we tell this guy to occupy the alley. Don't just go right now, because the quicker you go, the quicker the alley goes. The quicker the alley goes, the harder time our tackle will have. So we talk about, we do a lot of tempo in our releases. So be slow in that release. That's Aiden DeMillo from Portland right there. Be slow on the release off the alley, and then you are flat to there. And then the timing's all the same. About the time that he is bursting out laterally, he's returning, and these cats are coming out. All right, so the timing, the fact that that's all happening at the same time comes through repetition. And when I was part of the teams that did not have success in the screen games, because we didn't do this enough for it to look like that. But at the same time, they're all out. All right, here it is just going the other way. When you're working left to right, the quarterback can just put that right foot in the ground and then deliver it. Again, I'm contesting that one. This is another one where it's coming from the slot. Another picture of it here. This one is coming from a tight end. This is great. This has such value. When we were moving a stagnant bags, we never had to do this. Get inside that second kick out and then get back out to the number sideline. We saw a huge improvement when we started moving to these bouncing balls, as simple of a change as it was. Here it is coming from the gun. I'm giving a realistic look, so I'm trying to squeeze off the tackle. Oh, there's the screen, try to get a hand on it. If I can knock that ball down, I will. Okay, here it is in game. Here it is done to a 3 receiver side. So the first clip I showed you of that touchdown looked exactly like this. We are not throwing the ball to number 1. We would tag that it's going to number 2. Number 1 would run off into a most dangerous world, so he'd snap down, try to take away, would show up out of the corner or safety. Number 2 is going to run the tunnel. He's going to occupy the alley, kick 2, and our guard and tackle will be out. We get them on the light side. In fact, they will probably miss a line as they're in too high, and the stands over here. So it's like tape. That's about as good a look as you can get. All right, but here we're building the wall. This guy is great. We don't blindly run to his toes. If we see nothing's out there, we'll start to settle in that alley area and find work. So now our number 1 receiver ends up blocking the corner, so we no longer have to kick the corner. So our alley is able to say, all right, well, the corner's handled. What's coming out here? Ends up getting the safety. Our tackle, they got a little twist game coming in here. Our tackle is 3. He's underneath it all. Quarterback's got this out for the pressure. The first guy was out of there, so it was really him. He replaces me. Right? There's that red crayon I was holding. Tackle gets out there. There is nobody. The alley is handled because he handled the corner. He handled the alley. So what's left, he turns back to that guy out of the box. And we end up getting this thing to the 3rd level. And again, explosive play 21. Running it to the field. This is to a 2-man set, so he's going to run the tunnel. He's going to occupy the alley, kick the corner. Again, the corner started to run out of there. So if this guy just ran to the corner area, he'll be in great position to block the corner. Our tackle likely would not have gotten to the alley, so we very much have an areas mentality out here. It's not just a blindly, you own that hat, you own that hat. So when our receiver says, all right, well, the corner's out, here comes the alley, he takes the alley, which frees up the tackle. Tackle says, oh, all right, he's got the alley, let me work to the corner. Guard is down. There's the backer. Backer's losing ground, getting a foot race with him. Try to beat him to the spot. He knows that this tunnel's coming in, back out. So keep working it. And then number 1 makes the play. Now he made the play with the face mask, so we threw that on there. The reason number 1 made the play, you're going to see right here, our tackle is avoiding this and getting out. He collides with number 1, which will happen. If he was able to avoid that, the twist game is going to be a tough picture for the tackle. If he can avoid that, I think 1 takes another step, another rotation on the run fake, and 25 is probably going to make a play. Not a great shot, but here it is coming from the tight end. This is also it coming from the pistol. Show it early, take it away late. This is against press. All right, so you have to get a tight end wing. A lot of people won't call it first press. We used to live in that world, and then we see press almost every day from our defense. So it's either stop doing this stuff or learn how to run it first press. And that's why we went from the traditional big baby, go back where you came from, to the squeeze release. So here, tight end is down, then he is out flat. He needs to peel this block off of the tunnel, which he does, just barely, almost trips up. Gets back on his feet. Watch it from the tight. Tackle is down. He's a great player. He works at main bed now. He's nursing major force. He was our only all-region player He's working flat to the alley. The alley's trying to run out. Run with him, run with him, run with him. Fantastic job. 64, another great player for us. He's out flat. He's got alley. He's looking. This is where he made a mistake. He went to find the ball. He started to slow down. So that was mistake one. Now, a guy much faster than him is only a stride behind him, right? So by the time he won, first started celebrating, gets the point prematurely, then sees the guy that he should be blocking. He's behind him. Can't get to him. All right, well, hopefully he bends him. All right, I'll go block this guy. And then he gets, on his butt. So, all right. That is our tunnel screen. Tunnel screen off of wide zone action. We also sprint out. It's a healthy portion of what we do. We have a turn back protection. It's simple, right? You punch your outside leg, you hinge back, you block anything in that gap. All right? It is a loaded up protection, so we typically only do this to two-man concepts. Typically only do it to smash, and it's largely a way for us to pitch and catch to the field when we're getting soft corner, which is what you're seeing here. We run an expansion hitch, 3 yards from the bottom of the numbers. We go into that dead area that pretty much no one covers, right? And then we just get the guy to be one-on-one space. We used to run a traditional smash, we used to run a 6-yard hitch, and then I was on staff with Bowden, with Jonathan Michaels, and he's like, hey, we used to too, and we used to throw a lot of 6-yard hitches that got tackled for 6-yard gains. They went to this, and we threw a lot of 3-yard hitches with 3 yards to make people miss. And when we went to this, we saw averaging around that 6 yards on the hitches to get more like 8 to 10, because although it's a shorter route, you're getting it to somebody with room to make somebody miss. So that is the concept that we want to protect. This should look the same. Here comes a sprint out. There's the big turn back. Here's smash. We're loading up the front side of it. Now, instead of selling 3 steps to wide zone and flat with the tackle, the kick, and the guard, and so on and so forth, now you just sell that protection. Boom, boom. Tackle's out flat. He's going to kick the corner. Quarterback on the C-gap, which is tough because he's going to be sprinting, find it, have to beat a C-gap defender and throw it. If we didn't invest in this play, I would say it's too tough, but we do it every single day. And there's me. And there's me with the red crayons, trying to make that a tough throw for him. So he gets tipped, and almost was 30 of 34 completions this year. But it just barely got there, and there's our tackle. So let's watch our tackle, sell it. He actually put hands on, which is great, without disrupting his time. Runs straight down the line of scrimmage. He almost wanted to bleed it up a yard. Flat down the line, scrimmage, peel that corner off of the tunnel. Guard, flat, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep running, keep running, keep running. Great job. Same concept in terms of who's blocking who, 2 different actions for the offensive line. Therefore, it has a tag. It has a tag of the protection of selling, and then the same word that we use for the wide zone action. We run power. This was a great power play. Watch the double team. 64 and 70. Get into it, snap off. Love it. Backside linebacker. Snap off. Great power plays, right? Cut the defense in half. Here's the wall of down blocks and double teams and carnage. There's the kick out going the opposite way. Here's the puller. Cuts the defense in half. Coach Green's going to talk about power. That's it. Love it. Awesome. It's a party. A lot of our linebackers in our leagues that like read guards, right? So we want to throw tunnel off of power. So let's do it. No new teaching. Shuffle tunnel. No new teaching. Occupy the alley. Kick the corner. New teaching for the tackle. Sell that thing like you're hammering down into B gap. Same timing of the screen, of the wide zone screen, but now avoid C flat to a kick out. Your guard is out. He is false pulling. Pull and go opposite. The center does a bad block back. Whatever defender's on this backside, block back, slip them, flat to the alley. Our double team on the front side, if we're able to create a double team, is making that thing look, smell, taste like power, but they're just trying to kind of like reach through that, almost finish the thing like a zone combo, trying to get to the fake play side linebacker he's even there. The tight end where everybody's coming from is in the action. We do this with a pistol. We'll mesh it on the side of the screen. The quarterback will see C-gap, and then he'll deliver the ball to the tunnel. Here's us drilling it. There's the mesh, the guard's out. There's the tackle, not avoiding, or excuse me, hammering down to beat, and then getting flat out to the alley, which is coming from me on the red bag. Occupying kick, Tyler Blonde, Oxford Hills. And again, this is the value. Yes, we want to get inside the kick out, but a lot of times you have to make that guy right, and putting the balls out there allows us to work on that. Bad block back out of the center. We do not drill anybody on the front side of this. This is a half line drill, which most of our screens are. Now, the first clip did not have me there like I typically do. Having me there for the tunnel off power has two benefits. One, I can contest the cue, which here's Will Ledbetter from Wyndham, Maine. But secondly, you're giving the tackle the guy that he's got to avoid to get out flat. So this has two benefits. So there on contesting, you're actually going to see Will slide his body. He pops about 1.5 yards back out of the mesh, which just buys him an additional 1.5 yards that I may not be able to get to him. And then again, there's the value right there. Having him to catch, make that guy right, and then we'll back out to number 7. Here it is the other way, same drill. Draw him right, white, Coney, pull him right there. Again, here's a vertical retreat out of the quarterback. I really like this display here of this guy having to navigate this. Here, he's just patient, wait for that kick out to develop, and then he's back into it. I said in the very beginning that telling the quarterback he owns C-gap is a nice way to say he might get hit. This is the example. All right, so here we are meshing. There goes the guard. This is a mesh charge. He's right at you. You have one of two options. You can try to beat him with speed, get out of the mesh and throw it, or you can try to vertically retreat, buy yourself time to get out there. Our quarterback is a very tough player. He decides to eat this thing, but there's the nice way of saying that could happen on this play. It's something that we live with. You'll need to make a decision on whether you're comfortable with that. Occupy the corner, occupy the alley, kick the corner. Well, the corner's out, and the alley's with me. He could have kept going, and this guy likely would have made the play. Maybe 77 gets there, maybe not. Instead, he hammers it down. He takes the alley, this guy, and we drill it with the balls. Should have a two-way go of him. Hopefully, he's inside leverage, and we're in back out. That's the normal flow of the play. All right, but in this case, he takes the inside leverage, even with this guy having outside leverage, and we're able to run through what could have been an arm tackle. The tackle sees it. All right, he's handled the alley. I'm replacing him. I'm going to work out to the corner. And the big thing that we tell our offensive linemen who will be blocking somebody who's faster and more athletic to them is just stay on the move. Stay on the move, run through people. Our ball carriers will use you. What happens when they stop their feet, like you saw on that clip where the kid got knocked down late, is the ball carrier will outrun them, and now they are useless. Stay on the move. And our quarterback would take this hit 100 times again for this to be a low-thought 38-yard touchdown. We run quarterback power. So we gain our halfback in as the kick out. We put a much bigger halfback than the other ones that you've seen. Because our other one of them weighs 141 pounds. He was the offensive rookie of the year in our league, but he weighs 141 pounds. We don't ask him to keep people out. We haven't, probably never will. But anyways, this Q power, it's awesome. Similar picture. Seventh to safety, fits outside. We get that thing inside. This isn't a huge play, and it's not a great sell. But we're trying to make this look like the same. The quarterback, I would prefer to get a little downhill. If he got downhill, it would not have been a good play because the DN came upfield. So it's delicate, but this is going to number 2. Occupy the alley, kick number 2. We're gaining the outside receiver. I think he could have driven this guy off harder and further. Catch the ball. Here come 2 kickouts. Slight hesitation, get into it. Get vertical, not a touchdown, not a home run, not an explosive play, right? But an 11-yard gain on second and 8. We run power read, okay? So we're blocking power, we're cracking here, he's out to here, we're reading the DN. DN comes upfield, quarterback pulls it, and we're downhill. So we throw tunnel off the power read action. This I don't have as much film of. We haven't done it as much as the other ones. But here's a clip of us drilling it. This is our power read footwork. We clear, then we skate with them. By the time our second skate hits, we're usually footing the ground downhill. Now we're throwing that tunnel out the backside. The timing is the same. When we first put this in, I thought we might need to adjust the timing of the tunnel, and that was not the case. So again, you're seeing Will side here, kind of pops back, loses a yard. Again, this is great. Seeing him have to delay to get inside the kick out of the tackle, and then we're out. All right, this is a great clip. This is a 4-yard gain, and let me explain why it was a 4-yard gain. So you're getting pressed off on both guys here, right? So it's, a lot of people will say it's not a good look, right? We still feel comfortable running it. This is not something to this point that we had taught the slot. And then after seeing this, we're like, that's brilliant. Good for him. We need to start teaching that when we see some slot press. So he's occupying the alley and working to go to the corner. But what he did was he threw his inside hand into the alley and almost kind of worked him until the corner, which was fantastic. He is making the tackle's life easier. Unfortunately, because this is not something that we had taught to this point, and now we do teach it, our tackle strike, the stripe of his helmet goes right out there to the alley, and he's like, oh, the slot has the alley, that gives me the green light to climb. So although he climbs and blocks the safety, and then our bad block back from the center goes out there and like, oh, there's only one guy left, and he turns back, the alley ends up getting detached from him. You can imagine how this play would have gone if our tackle stayed straight down the line of scrimmage and cleaned up what our slot receiver was doing on the alley, and then 71 kept going to the corner. It would have to be 45 would have to make that play, and those late guys out of the box rarely do if we're doing a good job with our run edge. We did tell these guys were a little unpredictable on what they would do with their front side DN. So this week we told our running back, who usually would lead out, we'd crack, and he would lead out to the alley. We told him to stuff up in C gap. So if they wanted to do any type of mesh charge on something, when the quarterback's, all his attention is going out this backside, we would not have to worry about an unblocked C gap defender on the front side. So you might be wondering why that front side. You could do the same thing with your halfback coming across, but we were kind of cautious. We said, well, that guy's not going to play a factor. It did hurt the action a little bit. All right, we also run counter. Here's a counter play. So we're on counter to the right, 71's pulling, kicking out, he gets spilled, 46 is around it. He actually takes the worst of this, but he was inside out on this guy, good patience out of our back, right? And we're hitting this thing broken, great, power, or counter, excuse me. We do the same thing off the counter. All we do is you take the same power play we just showed you, but instead of having the tight end over here, blocking C gap, we put him here, and now you get two false pullers going opposite where you'll throw the tunnel. Here's us drilling it. So there you see the two pullers. This still has value for our second puller. We do not bring him over for the power action screen. We send him off to do individual. If we're spending it, we only pick one concept per screen drill, unless we are carrying quite a few screens for a game, and I call it screen roulette, and I'm just screaming the concept, and we're running it, so we're sharp in terms of hearing a word, being able to execute the screenplay. But anyways, we do think there's value in just getting him some second puller timing. So we do bring him over, and it's also good for the quarterback to see the whole picture that's developing in front of him. Besides that, it's all things we've already touched. There's the tackle hammering down the B gap. He's out flat for the alley. The slot is occupy the alley, kick the corner. And then our center is bad block backing to whatever's in that backside linebacker. Here it is the other way. Again, the first one, I am contesting, as well as this one. Good job by the quarterback. He's got to lose that extra yard. And again, the drill you've seen, used with different schemes, being used again. Here it is. Looks like counter. Pulling and kicking out. There comes the second puller. They were doing a lot of D-line movement, so our tackle was really just taking a picture of C-gap and seeing which way he was going to release around that. He was kind of just hanging, so he gives him a quick shot, and then he's fast and flat to the toes of the tunnel. Center is out for whoever's left, and nobody else remains from there. Again, this looks like counter. That looks like counter. until it's not. Again, very hectic frontside C-gap, which will happen, and if we didn't drill the crap out of it, you're probably thinking, now those were really tough throws for the quarterback, and they are. And that's why you need to invest in it, if you want to do this. Occupy the alley, this could have gone either way. A lot of these, you've seen this guy owning this and gaining the tackle. Whether that would have resulted in a better play, a lot of these screens take shape and take form in a lot of different ways. So we tell our guys in the alley to just be confident and deliberate and pick one, and the tackle will make you right. Our center, when he sees 2 for 2, he should have started to climb vertical here up the hash, and then we likely should have put a hat on 44 or the safety, whoever showed up first, and then been truly one-on-one. So, good play, 10-yard play, love it, 2nd and 5, 1st and 10. Potential for that to have been an explosive. All right, we also run quarterback counter with some swing stuff. So in this picture, we're running counter to the right. We are swinging the back to the left. The quarterback knows he's got 2 hats for 2 hats, which means he's going to put his eyes on this cat post-snap. And if he sits, pressures, or flows with the play, he's going to throw the swing screen. And if this guy expanded with the swing, we no longer have to block him. So it would be quarterback counter downhill. He's stagnant. We blocked 2 for 2. We were very comfortable with this back going one-on-one with the safety, who does a good job, right? But it's a pitch and catch, 13-yard gain to, that's the 141-pound freshman who's a very good player. It is at a 10 personnel. Now we're swinging him to the side of the counter. Counter's coming this way. Guard is pulling and kicking out. We got 3 people blocking for the swing. The quarterback typically will read the Mike linebacker. This guy does a very hectic, high-pressure front. They've sent 5 or more on just about 70% of their clips against us this year. So the quarterback is reading that front side picture, and he's seeing not only one, all these guys who are in man coverage, but also this safety expand with the swing, which tells him, okay, I'm going to pull it, I'm going to run counter. All right, so that is the concept, right? We're pairing swing screens with counter. Here it is, looks to be the same play. There's the puller, there's the swing, until it's not. Same exact blocking for these guys you saw, the tackle, right? Hammer to B, get flat for the corner, bad block back out of the center, he peels to 0. When we first were installing this, I thought we could only do it one way, right? I knew we could kind of pump it, get your right foot in the ground and throw it right to left with the quarterbacks. I did not think it would be a realistic ask for the quarterbacks to hard pump it, then try to flip those hips and throw back where you came from. We had a minute left in the screen drill. I threw it on the right hash, and I said, guys, play with it. Let's see if this is something we feel like we could do. The unanimous answer was yes, which was great. So if I wanted to call this play, it didn't matter what hash we were on. So it is a tough action from the quarterback, but it's something that we gave them the time to play with, and they ended up feeling really comfortable with it. And here it is again, working left to right. Getting out of the 10 personnel, hard pump, bring the hips. Good. This did come back to a hold. They got a hold on the tackle right about here. This still illustrates what we're trying to accomplish. We throw a drop back pass. Here's us running 4 verticals. Back to the protection. We do our seam read from number 2 to the field. He's capped by a 3rd level defender. He's running his bender. We tell him to find space. He finds space between the Mikey and the Sam. Quarterback's really direct with the throw. We're trying to hit that 17 to 22 yards down the field. All right, but again, this isn't a 4 verticals clinic. What we're showing you is what the protection looks like. And here's the screen off. So I told you we run 2 types of screens. Everything I've done to this point were our tone screens. Now you're going to see what we call our slip screens, which are coming to somebody from the backfield. Both our tackles will set hard inside leverage, try to ride anything past the cue. We will make this look like our man side protection and our slide side protection, as we are a man slide protection team. So depending on what gap is occupied on that front side guard, if it is inside gap, he will set down like it's part of the slide. If it's a 3-tech, he will set him. He will intend to be the first out, and he will look to kick the alley. Our second man out, which we intend to be our center, will be flat with him, and then climb vertical, much like our second guy out on all of our tunnel screens. And then our opposite guard will peel back and look to clean anything coming out of the box to the slip screen. Now, our teaching here is first out, second out, last out. So if the front side guard gets jammed up, the next guy out should be the kick out. The next guy out should be the alley, and you'll lose that peel back guy, that rag killer guy. This is on it. This is what we teach. This is not something that we've done a good job at. So you'll see sometimes on tape, the guy who's peeling back get out in front of the guy who's doing the alley, and that's because they're not seeing it. And whether that's something that I'd be interested to talk to any of you guys who teach that, first out, second out, third out, whether that's something you've actually got your players to do in game situation, because it's great on paper, it's really sound. We're either not teaching it right, or we haven't found a way to get it to where it's effective. We do pull the whole offensive line over for this, and we don't need anybody else. So receivers are over an individual, tight ends are over an individual. This is to the halfback. We key our halfback, get into the protection, key it off the play side guard. We are trying to get 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage, behind the ghost tight end, and then you're trying to remain inside the kick out, make the alley right at the second level. So there it is going to the left. There it is just from the tight. Here it is going to the right. This is an example. Now I'm throwing the ball from the backfield, so that guy peeling back is having to peel back and clean that thing out of the box. And here it is from the game. We're doing this paired before verticals. We tell all those receivers to run off the stock. This is great. You get anybody in a man turn, meaning he's putting his butt to the quarterback. Just keep running his outside hip. Both tackles are riding this thing past the cue. Quarterback will take his drop back footwork, vertically retreat with his eyes downfield, find the running back, execute a throw that's necessary to get to him. If it gets ugly, continue to buy time, find a way to dirt it at his feet. Great patience here. Don't outrun your kick out. If he thought about it, then he hesitated. This is probably, instead of a 22-yard gain, probably an 11-yard gain if he doesn't hesitate there. That tells, he gets 4 to hesitate. Our offensive line, where the cue is keep running, which allows him to get over to it. And this goes for a score. We skip ahead. This is just another, I'll show this because it was just it wasn't a great block play, it was a great rack kill, peel back on the right guard. He's got to peel this thing off. He does a pretty average job. He looks like he's going to make the play. Somebody's falling back in late, and he comes back, and he stuffs the whole thing. Fantastic. We skip ahead. All right. I told you we run sprint out. You saw the sprint out back to the tunnel. Here's the sprint out back to the slip screen to the halfback. So we're going to hide the halfback on the front side. All these guys are making that look like that turn back protection for sprint out. And now we're just throwing it to a different human, running the same play. So we have the ability to throw this turn back sprint out protection to multiple people. You gain the front side receiver on that. Front side receiver had a tight line, a hard corner, and a zone turn, which means he could have eyes to it. So that's why he made the decision just to hammer it down and block that guy like he was stock block. Really heads up by him. Same play, we're just starting it empty, motioning him over there to go back. I don't know how I feel about this play, and I've watched it a million times. The quarterback got out there and just was like, oh, I see a ton of space. I'm just going to kind of throw it out there, which I'm in the box. I'm like, this is not going to go well. This kid was a really good player. Number 7, he takes the inside path off 71. If he ran outside him, I think it's a contested ball. Maybe 7 catches it. Maybe our guys catches it. So I still don't know how to feel about this play. I certainly, once it happened, we were moving on to the next play, and we're on the 25-yard line. It was a 21-yard gain. But you guys form your own opinions about how you thought that one shook out. I'm going to skip to here. We will also hide tight ends, whoever on the back side of this. Gain the halfback, protecting the front side edge. And sprint out. He is getting the same look. He's getting to that same ghost tight end area. and it's the same drill. Just being thrown now to a tight end on the backside. Here it is being done to a tight end fullback type on the front side of it. So he's aligned on the front side of it. Now he's doing what the halfback typically does. You still get the halfback on the front side of it. Great against teams that are going to full hard sprint out. Potential teams that play a little bit on discipline, and you know that on film. And in the final, this is my last 2 clips. And this is 52. So I did get 2 hours of tape in 50 minutes. Play action pass. This is a protection that we carried 2 years ago. You'll see the tail end of it. We're throwing it out and up. It's a 7-man protection. Right, we're able to go over the top. Both the halfback and the tight end were tied into protection. So you can see our tight end in the protection here. You can see our halfback, who's responsible for a human being, and then go check down. So that is the protection. And then this is aims will look the same. He's in the protection. We're meshing the halfback here. And there's that same slip screen to the guy who was in the protection. Different type of human catching the ball there, but still productive play. Same thing, looks like the same play action protection. There's the slip screen. This guy, number 72, is giving a couple doors down. Email, Twitter handle, cell. I have cards up here as well. I'll drop the stack of cards. Right here, it has all that information. Spring ball schedule. Take a picture if you're interested. Complete open book. We'd be thrilled to have any of you all come check out any of these practices. And, come back after the practice and watch the tape from practice, or anything that you saw. I know a lot of coaches in this room have done that, and we certainly would like to invite you back. I'm going to move to that room we just started in. So any questions, any further discussions you guys want to have, come find me there. That way Coach can set up for his talk. But thank you. Enjoy the rest of your clinic.